hand you over to Puddin, and he's going to do our intro.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for watching the Giggity Racing League, one of the most elite e-racing leagues out there. Tonight with me, as always, we have Mr. Impy Roofer, and we have our good friend from over the pond, Robbie Vince. How are you guys doing tonight?
Yeah, not
Good,
too bad.
Man.
Tonight we're going to do some racing. We're going to do some New Hampshire and Daytona racing. New Hampshire is one of those tricky tracks. How do you think you guys would go approaching this race if it was you?
Really slow. It's such a tricky
slow and
track.
Steady.
Yeah.
Right.
You gotta be
New
so
Hampshire,
careful.
you get in a lot of trouble. Right. A lot of people overdrive New Hampshire, and me at like a track like New Hampshire, slow is actually faster. I don't know. It's,
I like how you said that. I didn't mean to overtalk you there. I'm sorry, Roofer. I like how you just said that because I think that's going to be something that Robbie Vid, yourself, and myself bring up tonight a lot. Overdrive. It is a driver's track. There is many lines to it if you can figure it out. But I like how you use that word overdrive. We will bring that up tonight.
Yeah,
right, you gotta be patient.
Yeah, definitely.
Go ahead, Robbie.
We've just been informed that broadcast has, not the broadcast, the qualifying has just ended, and the invites are going to be coming shortly, and they're going to let us know when to join in.
Awesome.
At New Hampshire, again, I figured out that you can run a good medium to high line there, Roofer. Where would you preferably like to run?
I kind of, if I'm by myself, me personally, I kind of diamond the corners, but it's hard to do that if you got trap view, if you have someone, next to you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'll enter low and drift up high and then try to come back out towards the wall, but kind of like diamond the corners. But in traffic, that won't work. You'll have to pump your brakes down there if you got someone beside you, or you'll run them up into the wall. So with tires being, how they are in this game, I would just take it easy and just try to...
Just going to blue screen. Just blue screening real quick. Sorry.
Where do you like to run here?
The high line. I do like the high line. Right, I'm in here now. Let's bring in Roofer. Just going to blue screen again. And we're going to bring in Puddin as well. Sorry guys, won't take a moment.
Join in. Pipe in, give her some answers to the questions we ask. We love the feedback, and we love to have you guys there. Daytona, that is definitely up in the air. That's one of those anybody can win at races. What would your strategy be at Daytona tonight, Robbie?
Daytona, I'll definitely play a patience game. I did it before, and last time I raced at Daytona, I ended up victorious and got the poles. So, it's definitely a track of patience. Find your teammates and work together. Okay, so we're now here, and it seems like we've got the 24 of the RJ Smitty there running in first place.
I just got a message from one of the fellow Giggity racers out there who is paying attention to the broadcast. Thanks for joining in tonight. T. Clay, I'm sure you guys have raced with him. He loves the Daytona, he said. Can't wait to get there himself.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a good track. Like I said, when you're with your teammates, it's awesome.
And he also said it's great to hear you on the broadcast again, Robbie. So thanks to T. Clay for paying attention and joining in with us tonight as one of our Giggity racers.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a while, hasn't it? I can't remember the last time I was at a broadcast.
Last time I think you broadcast, I had the opportunity and the fortunate circumstance to do it with you, and it's always a good time. If it wasn't for you, Robbie, I wouldn't even be on Heat 3. We met playing a different video game, and you're one of my good friends on here, and thanks for introducing me not only to Heat 3, but to Giggity Racing League itself. Thank you, I appreciate it, buddy.
You're welcome. I mean, I prefer NASCAR over Formula 1 any day. And also playing the games as well. You meet so many decent blokes. You go over to Formula 1 and you got nothing but a bunch of girls over there, but NASCAR is definitely the way to be.
If you ain't got a big American V8 under your hood, or Toyota, I guess would be, you know, then you ain't got nothing, right?
Yeah, this is it.
Look at this, right out front. Here we go, guys. We are going fast. We are with the Giggity Racing League Elite Drivers in the Cup Series at New Hampshire. I have more excitement watching these races than I do some of the real live Cup races. And our leader, Kate Teddy, has been pushing me for a long time now, Robbie, and referred to join Giggity Racing League, which I will on Monday night in a truck. But I have more fun watching these races. It's more exciting because of the talent we have here.
Oh yeah,
Most
I mean,
definitely.
oh, there's Roofer. How you doing, mate? Welcome back. Sort of lost you for a moment there.
So if anybody's out there watching, let's do our first van vote.
Yeah.
Let's do, what do you guys think? Let's do the first van vote, favorite paint scheme of this race per car. Type it in, let us know, and the broadcaster will definitely let you know who said it and where it at. But we love involving everybody who pays attention, and thanks for doing it, guys. Oh, RJ Smitty is going into turn 1 there, guys, and it looks like he got a little squiggly, but he's holding his own. He does appear to be riding that midline like you were talking about, Roofer and Robbie.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the best lines to have.
It's a good tire saver, and it maintains good speed, in my opinion, Roofer.
Yeah.
Yeah. It don't work if you have someone next to you, but if you're by yourself, it works. You don't want to
Oh, we have a wreck on the backstretch. It seems that was to be the number 31 of Spanker there. He's took a nasty hit. I see him flying in the air, and hopefully for his sake he brings out a caution and they can get him back together there, back on the line, and off they go.
That's unfortunate for Spank Racer. I raced with him earlier during the Pro League Challenge at Road America. He's a very clean, very fast driver. We hope to see him get back up to the front, guys.
Spanker's a good driver.
You in your own right, Robbie, and Roofer, I've raced with you guys. You both are very, very fast. Again, that's why a lot of these guys would probably like some of your input if you know, on lines, tips, and setups. If you guys wouldn't spit it out there, or do you guys want to leave it for the come get some type of deal? You know, fast as fast can be. Try to catch me.
Well, I always, if someone needs a setup or whatever, I'm the type that I don't mind helping people out. You know, it's just the way I am. I'll give them exactly what I'm running. Sometimes it works for them, sometimes it don't. But I know I'd have to say Red, man, Red 4424, if on YouTube, he has been the most help after watching his setup videos and all that. I've actually learned how to start building my own a lot more now, and it's just he's taught me a lot just by watching his videos. So I'd have to, my credit would have to go to him.
Robbie and I and T Clay
Oh,
and a couple other
Wicked
guys.
is just a hit the end of pit road
hit
there.
hard.
That's
Robbie,
a shame.
like I said, T Clay, we definitely had the opportunity to race in the Pro League Challenge with Red tonight. And he did share some of his setups, but it's not necessarily setups because everybody's different. But to watch Red's line, we got to watch Red 4424 tonight, and we had that unique opportunity to run with one of the Pro League drivers like that. And it was he's fast, and he taught me something, Robbie. I don't know if he taught you any, guys.
Yeah, for me, he taught me, you know, I watched his videos on YouTube and he taught me how to set up my car, and I've been doing my own since. I don't feel the need to look on YouTube now and find a base, not as much. And it's definitely a lot easier for me to find a setup and put my own style in.
It's definitely cool to race with somebody of that caliber, but I would like to see Red in the Giggity Racing League and see what he has for what we have here. As I'm watching Mills is running that high line looking real good, guys. I would definitely put money up against most of our Giggity Racing League to some of those Pro League guys. They're that fast.
Yeah, most definitely.
Actually, race Red at Watkins, or not Watkins Glen, but Road of America today's challenge, and he's pretty much at the top of the leaderboard. He's really fast. He ran about 12 seconds faster than me in 2 laps, so that's pretty quick.
Still watching Mills over here. Mills was one of the guys I had the opportunity to share the broadcast booth, just like you guys. Mills is looking good tonight. It's great to see him back on the track.
There has been a lead change for the past 3 to 4 laps. The lead has now gone to the 48 of... I'm sorry guys, just got to try and find...
The 48 is Spinkter. Spinkter 24.
Spinkter 24.
Looking good.
That's
yeah,
not a name.
ahead.
That's not a name I heard in a while, you know. He's been quite quiet and sat in the background, but he's taken the lead on this one.
We all know certain people have their preference in track. Some people like super speedways, 1.5 miles, 2 miles. Myself, I'm a road course guy. Maybe this is one of these short, tight corner turns, Robbie and Roofer, that Spinkter really likes, and he's starting to put that Camo 48 out front again and giving RJ that run. Good to see somebody giving RJ a run, because RJ, again, was super fast himself. Obviously, if you're in the Giggity Racing League Cup Series.
Yeah, they're definitely going to be putting a sweat on each other's brow there.
Oh, I agree. And here's another thing, and what to bring up what Roofer said earlier, though, and same thing with you, Robbie. Patience, technique, line, throttle control, and patience. I think all of those, not just one, but all of those, definitely be a factor tonight, guys, at New Hampshire.
Most definitely. You're going to have to save some tires and take it easy at the very beginning of the run when you're in traffic until it strings out. You know, if not, you're just going to get damaged and you'll pay for it when you make your pit stop. Or even until you make your pit stop, you're going to pay for it. So.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, I'm taking a ride along here with RJ Smitty over the hood, and he seems to be driving real smooth around these corners and definitely focusing on his marks and just ignoring that leader and taking the car to where he needs it to go.
Something that I've noticed a lot with RJ, even Noco and Trout, and you brought it up there, they are smooth and they are consistent and they are super patient. That's how you save tires and fuel. And Robbie, I think you're onto something. This track definitely has to have that for you. You know, you got to have that technique to do it.
Yeah, definitely.
If your tires wear off too quick, Roofer, you're not going to be able to make these hairpin turns here. You know, it's almost like a paperclip.
Right. What'll start happening is you'll get on the throttle and the rear of your car is going to start wanting to come out on exit. And you'll start telling when people's tires start getting worn down, they'll start getting real loose coming off. And then that makes you suffer. You have to sit there and wait until you can get back on the throttle.
And not only that, I mean, they start,
I like what you
changing
just said
their
there,
line.
that throttle control. Throttle control is a big key. Sorry to overtalk you. Go ahead, Robbie.
I was just saying, like, when the tyres start to wear in, they need to start saving tyres. Like, we've got A Trout here. He was running the high line a minute ago to try and save some tyre wear there, but he's back on the inside, and I could definitely see a few of the drivers trying to do the same and save their tyres throughout the race.
And it looks like I'm following the Spank racer right now in that 3110 the Beast car. It looks like he's got some front end damage. And that's a shame for Spank, like we saw earlier. He's a good racer. Hopefully he can overcome that. 37 spun around. 37 is around. Coming out of the corner right there.
A Trout.
No caution. Yeah.
He's definitely going to be kicking himself.
A couple different names that we're used to saying, and the wrong type of circumstance. You know, A Trout, Noco, those guys, they like to run up front. It's not very common to see them back afterwards, is what everybody would say.
A Trout into the pits now.
If anybody out there is paying attention, and again, I joined a couple public lobbies for fun. People have noticed my name or my voice. They have found us on YouTube, and we're curious about the Giggity Racing League. If you want to put your talents to the test, let one of us know. We'll be more than happy to inform you on how to get involved with this, and we appreciate that for paying attention on the Giggity Racing YouTube channel. It was cool to hear somebody say, "Hey, I know your voice," and he wanted to get part of it. We got him involved with a couple of our administrators, and next thing you know, he's in the developmental league.
most definitely. They'll give you a chance here quick, and I've seen a lot of people take that chance and run with it, and I've seen others, kind of, you get more than one chance here anyways, If they'd rather you be slow and patient than fast and aggressive, because, you can teach speed.
I was just going to say that everybody in Giggity is willing to help each other, but they would rather have a good, patient, clean driver than somebody who's super fast. And you can work your way up real quick from the truck to the Xfinity to the Cup, truck Xfinity to the Cup. Excuse me, guys. And even now we're experimenting now with a dirt league also. If anybody wants to get involved, I had the opportunity to broadcast that race the other night at Durban, and man, it was intense.
Yeah, we have 30-something cars in dirt. Usually an A and a B main because there's so many cars. Like I said, they cover it all here: Xfinity, trucks, developmental, Cup, custom, and sliders.
The administrators do such a good job at maintaining all of that, and that's no easy task on top of maintaining their daily life. That's where we're following Jack Mac Taylor back here in the number 9 car, looking smooth and fast for you, Robbie. What kind of preset would you guys run here? Depending upon tire wear, I'm a 7 type of person on a preset on 1 or 2 tire wear, but anything more than that, what would you guys run though?
On a 50%. Yeah, go ahead, Rufo.
Well, go ahead, Rod. Cup, me personally, I run a little lower. Like Xfinity, I'd probably run a 7 here, but Cup, I'd probably start off on a 6, and if I had to loosen it up with the wedge, I'd go down on the wedge if a 6 was still too tight. But I'm on a wheel, that's different.
On a 50% race, like running the wheel, like Rufus said, I would run a 5 straight down the middle, and any adjustments I need, I'll put them in after stage 1 and hope for the best, as always.
Again, that's everybody's different point of view and way of thinking. I think of these corners like a paper clip. I want the car to be able to turn. On a road course, I run a 7, 8, or 9, but you got these long straightaways. But with tire wear and everything too, you have to take that in consideration too. Also, so I like the car to be able to turn, not be quite so tight and burn tires off, but I don't want to be too loose at the same time and burn them off by sliding. So everybody has their own characteristics. Everybody has their own driving style. Let's see how it pans out at Sphincter. Still looking good up here in this 48, guys.
Well, it's exactly it. It's not only that about the tyre wear, it's about what line you run. So you've got to think to yourself, what line I'm going to run, and then you take your setup from there.
Yep. You can run the high line and save tires at tracks, but the low line really burns tires up at certain tracks. It's all dependent on the different track, Last night I blew my tire, I thought I had plenty, and then I ended up blowing my tire on the last lap, but it's just tires are a real big factor in this game, which I'm glad they made it like that.
I agree with that. Yeah,
Heat 3, you could go out there and run a top 10 lap all race long, and that's just not how it works out in real life. You have fall off, and I'm so glad they made that into this game, because you fall off like a second and a half on a tire run, it's pretty cool with me.
Roofer, I've had the opportunity to commentate numerous of your races, but to be able to sit in the broadcast and get your point of view, you're bringing up so many great points. Tire fall off is another objective these drivers tonight are going to have to worry about, as it looks like the 31 is of Sphincter. Spank is passing Sphincter. Do you think he's starting to slow down a little bit to save some of those tires there, Robbie? Ruth?
I'm not sure. I think he's putting that car lap down there. So
yeah, he's good at this track. I do know that Spanker is. I've announced he's good at road courses, and guys that are good at road courses are usually good at these, like I said, tight corner tracks like that. Like Puddin said, he's getting some pressure now though, and who I'd expect to see right there too would be someone like Smitty, because Smitty's really good on road courses. It seems like this track translates over to road course drivers some really well.
I really do love a good road course track myself. Again, maybe this is something to I relate to in real life. And if you've ever heard a Giggity broadcast, and I've said it once, I've said it twice, I'm a high wide type and handsome person. But we got A Trout, Blakey T, we got Spinkter, Spank Racer, we got Time Mac, we got RKM Giggity in here, we got Checkmate Taylor, A Trout. Guys, we have a loaded field tonight with that talent. How is your mentality going to be able to change from a tight hairpin track like this and then go to a super speedway? What's your mentality thinking?
I would think it's a big relief. I'll be like, oh, thank God for that.
Yes, exactly. And I'm glad that they did it in this order. I would hate to do Daytona and then do New Hampshire after you've done been pushing on somebody and drafting, because it's a whole new ball game. You know, you have to actually use your brakes at New Hampshire. If you don't use your brakes at New Hampshire, you're not going to set any good times. It's one of the few tracks in the game you do have to use your brakes. Smitty just got really loose and come around.
No.
Like I said, his tires.
Uncharacteristic mistake there, Roof, for starting to cut you off by the 24
we're getting
car.
close
Very
to pit stops, and it come down and just whipped around on him. Really nothing you can do. I tell you what, I spent $150 today just on a set of pedals just because of that reason. Because it's that important to have throttle control in this game.
That's commitment.
Throttle control is a huge factor, Robbie.
Yeah, that's definitely a big commitment there. When you know a lot of these guys, they do spend some money on their setup, and they want to run up there with the big boys, I suppose you could say, and they want to be competitive.
Plastic pedals don't cut it. I mean, to be honest.
It's funny you say that because I've got plastic ones on a T80.
Right.
It's tough. It is tough.
Well, it looks like we're coming under our first caution here, guys. This is our first chance for all of these Giggity racers: Mills, Hey Trout, Blakey T, Sphincter, Spank Racer, Time Mac, RKM, to make some adjustments. What kind of adjustments do you think they're going to make? It just all depends on the driver, though, right?
A lot of these guys probably didn't put in a whole lot of practice. I mean, some of them did and some of them didn't. The guys that didn't get a whole lot of practice, that was just probably their practice was qualifying in this first run here. So they really know what their cars are going to do. The other guys that's been practicing, however, all day, they know exactly. They already got their setup in. I mean, they're fixing to put it in, and now you're fixing to see, I think, a whole different race. I don't think it'd get as spread out as it was before. So now they should have all their setups in now on the first caution.
So at the end of stage one, we have Spenker. He took the pole there on the end of stage one. Then in second, we have Mills. In third, we have Blakey T. In fourth, we have RJ Smitty. In fifth, we have Book Racing. In sixth, we have Ty Mac. In seventh, we have Checkmate Taylor. In eighth, we have RKM Giggity. In ninth, we have Spank Racer. And in 10th, we have A Trout.
Great update, guys. Thank you. And it's awesome to see Blakey T running well. I know Blakey T personally from this game, and I've raced with him. He's clean, he's fast, and he's advanced himself pretty quick in the Giggity racing development all the way up. And these guys, I mean, we got and a couple names we haven't said tonight that we're normally used to saying. Buck Racing, Wicked Gatekeeper. Some of those guys are really fast, and they're normally up front. There's some names we're used to seeing up front on the time, guys.
Smitty and the 37, boy, they bounced and made some heavy contact back here, but Smitty, I think, kind of let him go. Just watching to see how he gets back to the front.
Book Racing, he's actually sat in the pits right now, so I'm not too sure what's going on there.
Uh-oh.
A-Trout drove that car in hard. He was bicycling for a split second. That's how hard these guys are trying to get points. Again, when it comes to points, you got stage racing. Every one single point counts. So these guys are definitely they're not fighting just for position. They're fighting for more than that, guys.
You'll get so much pressure, if you've been running all season, you're that close to, points that you'll mess yourself up and psych yourself out and make mistakes. See, it was the 37 just made a mistake right there. Just went all the way to the back. But it gets intense in these races. Like I said, you'll miss a pit stop, or or you'll make get a speeding penalty because you're trying that hard to get a top 10 finish at the end of the stage. Or if you just sit back and relax and let it come to you, it usually works out better. But
Sitting back watching Blakey T. Blakey T claims, and I have seen on numerous occasions, to be a short track specialist. He loves these tracks, and it's great to see him up here in the Cup Series in Giggity Racing League and get a dose of competitiveness with him, because Blakey T is super fast. So to see these guys in front of him, Sphincter and RJ Smitty right in front of Blakey, if he's running third, that shows you how fast these guys are, guys, because Blakey T is fast on these tracks. He's very clean, consistent, but he is super fast on short tracks.
yes, I've seen him on some esports tracks, and he's pretty good. I've ran a few esports tracks with him, and he's really fast, like he is. Like Buck, we thought maybe have lagged out. He's actually come out of the pits. He just made an unscheduled pit stop, so now he may have forgot to pit on the first pit stop at the end of the stage and had to come in for gas, is what I was thinking. He's really like way behind trying to catch up. Buck is now. He's out there by himself in the back. He didn't lag out though.
Maybe something for strategy. What do you think, Robbie? And it didn't pay off for him?
Yeah, I think either he made a mistake or he might have took a bit of a nudge and got shoved into pit lane there. But we'll see at the end of the race.
Walking away with this thing, man.
Yeah, he's gone.
Right at the moment, he's setting a good pace.
I think RJ Smitty in this 24 car, he has a direct fire from behind. Blakey T running that second and third line. He gets right up on his bumper. He's letting RJ Smitty say, hey, you've been here longer than I have, but I'm a force to be reckoned with Blakey T. He's looking good, guys. Mills, always looking good. A-Trout, you know, it's so cool to see these guys up here. I've had the opportunity to either A, broadcast with them, B, drive with them, or C, race with them on just a recreational basis. And I think you're right there, guys.
Wondering how long it would take Smitty to get back to the front. He's done a good job after, you know, he got loose coming out of the corner and turned around. He's making up some time in second place there on Spinker. I mean, I think them two got the best cars early in the race here, you know, from what I've seen.
That's a great observation there, Rupert. As always, though, thank you for joining us. We got MP Roofer, we got Robbie Vids, and you got Puddin' up here.
Ooh, the 88 car gets around. He saves it, though. It might have been a lag, actually, on the screen. So I don't see any damage on the car. I believe it was a lag.
You've seen these guys run that second and even third line, trying to save those tires, like both of you guys said, Robbie.
Yeah, I'm just sat here, I'm looking at the guys at the back, and there's some really interesting racing. I mean, this track is so hard to do a clean overtake and move on, because you don't want to wreck anybody on purpose. So what do?
Right.
You know, do you slam on the brakes, lose a position, or do you let off and just slightly nudge them? And, you know, it is really difficult, real difficult.
It's a terrible track to pass at. It really is.
And to be able to pull off a pass, it just shows you the quality of drivers we have in the Giggity Racing League that can pull these passes off on a difficult passing track, guys.
It's kind of like a big Martinsville is the way I've always looked at it, as a 1 mile Martinsville. That, you know, Martinsville's the same way. You kind of got to use your bumper sometimes to get positions. If not, you'll be sitting there all day and then back at the field unless you get aggressive and just move a few guys out of the way.
It's unique how you said that, because I've always thought of this and Gateway as a giant Martinsville. You're correct.
Yes, that's another. Yeah, turn 1 at Gateway, that tight little hairpin corner. It's just like Martinsville too. It's got a little of a banking, but not much. And then turn 3 Gateway is like New Hampshire. You know, it's a pretty cool little track.
Watching a 31 guys with Spank Racer back here, he's trying to get his way back to the front. He's running that lone line, trying to make that low dive pass. Everybody else is trying to save a little bit on that second, third line. Everybody's techniques, it's a little bit different here, guys.
You really just got to get in a track like this. You want to get in a good rhythm. Just try to pop out some lap time, you know, consistent lap times and get in a good rhythm.
Another great word we haven't brought up from you, Ruther, and you keep bringing up all these points. Rhythm, on top of throttle control, as we see everybody get loose. But yes, Ruther, you are correct. Rhythm, another great word. Don't drive the racer, drive the racetrack. You don't want to overdrive yourself.
Exactly. You'll burn your tires off soon, and you know, if you chase the guy ahead of you, you just got, as you see, if Smitty, he was just running his line, and he got around the 48 there just by letting the 48 make a mistake in front of him. He didn't never have to stick his bumper in there or make an aggressive move on him.
I do have a question.
Smitty,
I do have a question that most people are going to probably want to ask. Who is Ty Mack?
Fast.
Ty-Mac, I am not sure. I know of K-Mac, but I don't know of Ty-Mac.
It's the first time I've had the opportunity to say Ty Mac's name. I know as you say that, Robbie. I think coincidence happens for a reason. I just switched over to the 32 car of Ty Mac in that Mustang, and he is looking good. Not a name you don't say a lot.
I've never actually seen Ty Mac before. Like I said, I know of K-Mac, and it's Kevin Macy, but I don't. Yeah,
Well,
he
in
usually
Giggity
runs the
Racing, we all
21.
know we have hot seats. You know, this could be a hot seat opportunity for him to prove himself. You know, and he's looking really good tonight.
Yeah, I'm on his onboard. He's dropping clean
track.
laps. Yeah, RKM right there ahead of him.
Ooh, RKM Giggity overshoots the corner just a little bit. Sorry.
Yeah. Gives him the bottom, but you see how Ty Mac had to get out of the throttle right there? If not, he would have ran RKM in the wall, so he let out of it. And then the 31 jumps on top of it.
Oh,
As now the 3 wide with
3
contact, the 32 being, I think, lucky because he's on the bottom. Yep, gets out ahead of him there with the 37 right ahead of him.
Both of you guys being Giggity racers, is it hard to be in the booth and not want to be out here watching this competitive racing?
I always want to be on the track. I love to race myself. I'm sure, Robbie, you're probably the same way.
Yeah, I'm sat here rubbing my feet together thinking, what would I do? You know, what would I do at that point? And I'm like, I really want to be on that track, especially when it comes to Daytona.
And if anybody at Giggity Racing is not paying attention, they need to follow. You know, they need to follow these races, even if you're on a lower level.
Oh, it's the 37 dive bombs, the 32. 37 just dive bombs, 32, but the 31 gives it back. Oh, and puts him in the wall.
Yeah,
nice.
A little contact right there, a little wall
RKM
to the river.
pays,
Right, 3 wide.
Yeah.
Oh,
RKM's around though because of it, unless it was lag on my screen. I think we got a caution because of it, guys. But yeah, somebody, let's see, Trout dove bombed somebody, and then they gave him the old payback. So you can get aggressive at this track and accidentally do something, and someone you not being in the same party, and someone will think you did it intentionally. You know, it's hard to hit your same breaking point lap after lap.
Embers can fly. That is another valid point. I mean,
I'm on Trout's onboard now, and he's not over, because you can wall bang this track and probably cut a half a second after a lap, but I don't see anybody trying to do that. Yeah.
Not Giggity, no.
Right.
It's not worth the damage.
This is the first opportunity that I've had to be in the booth with Ruther, and man, he just keeps hitting the nail on the head. You know.
Trout just nailed the inside wall. Unless that was a lag, it flashed on my screen. Sorry, I was on.
No,
Trout's
he got
onboard.
real close to that wall. Real close.
Okay.
I'm sitting here following Jack like Taylor, and that's a name that we're normally used to saying to the front. Seeing at the front, and he is patiently riding that third line, saving tires, and that would be it would surprise me to see him be a contender at the end, guys.
Yeah, I reckon he's going to be a top 5.
Have heavy contact now. They need a pit stop soon.
Another name we're used to seeing at the front, like I said earlier, Buck just switched over to Buck over here. Buck's looking clean and consistent. Maybe he's in conservation mode, guys. That's a little something you don't see from Buck. He's always up front pushing hard, but maybe he's in conservation mode being at New Hampshire at a tire saving track.
Yeah, I mean,
it could be.
Buck's a good driver.
I think he made a mistake somehow, and he's trying to make up for it. Right, like I got a speeding penalty the other night, you know, on the very last pit stop of the race, and it forced me into trying to make it last to the end to make up for that mistake, which made me blow a tire one lap early, which actually put me into another mistake trying to make up for a mistake. So hopefully Buck can get it turned around here and catch the right brakes. Early
Well,
is when you want to have them.
with stages and cautions on, anything can happen. It'll get you punched back up, make those
Right.
adjustments, make that car a little bit faster, and get you right where you want to be.
Right, you make your mistakes early, it's good. You know, you make them at the end of stage 3, it's not good. So he can get back
Robbie,
in
what
rhythm.
are your opinions on New Hampshire? Again, being so technical, what are your thoughts and approaches on this race?
I hate the track. It's horrible. Like, it's so difficult.
He's honest.
It's on a wheel. As a wheel driver myself, it is a hard track.
Yep.
Myself, maybe to get it on a controller, it might be different. On the wheel, it's terrible.
Me, I'm on a controller right now, and I don't mind this track. But again, we brought this point up. I like road courses also, so I treat this track. There's like a couple others out there other than the road courses. Like a road course, that's how you drive them. So.
Yeah, see, I'm not as fast as on the road courses. A lot of the controller guys. I want to get better on the controller so I can run on the controller at tracks like this and road courses myself. But that was the main reason why I ordered that pedal set, though, the metal pedals, just so I got more. It's got force feedback in the pedals to where you have more throttle control. I think it's gonna help, you know. Like I said, tires in this game is everything.
It's like I like how they brought that into it.
Yeah, me too. If you ever race Formula 1, like if you barely mess your front wing up, you lose massive amounts of time. And it was unrealistic before. I've seen people with crushed cars at the end that look like they've been in a banger race, pretty much win races on Heat 3, and it wasn't realistic. So I'm glad they made the damage and the fall off realistic on this game myself.
You're watching RJ Smith racing, man, and he's looking smooth and fast, guys, as always.
Yeah, I knew he'd be a favorite here. He don't make a mistake. I believe he's going to be tough to beat. He made his mistake early in stage 1 when he got loose, but he only fell back to 5th, so it didn't hurt him too bad.
Yeah, RJ Smitty is flying. I think he's definitely in the zone.
Yeah.
I'm excited to be up here in the booth with Roofer and Robbie Bid. We have a tight tactical track. We're big, wide open. Anybody can win this track, guys. This is some exciting racing. We're going to be racing. If you have any qualms or any questions on how to get ready for the race, please let one of us know. We're looking for it's a great keeper. It looks beautiful.
I believe we either have a caution or we're at the end of the stage 2, maybe?
Yeah, I think that's the end of stage 2 there, and we'll wait for the results to come through and I'll read them out to you.
Yes, I see there's quite a few cars with damage. Spanker,
Yep.
Trowel, there's a few.
Now's the time to get that stuff fixed. Not a big aero track, but it still will fix your handle.
Right. I think it's one of those tracks you run around 30.5 to 31 seconds, something around there, and you want to be able to hit it consistently, you know. I know that's my problem on the wheel. I can hit like a 30.5 one lap, but then a 31.2 the next. It's not a consistent, because you have, with the plastic pedals anyways, it's really hard to be consistent on a track like this.
Look at front, guys. We haven't said a lot tonight. Look who's up there in that 9 car.
Ooh, as he went straight to the back, making me, whoa, as he hit the wicked gatekeeper. Checkmate, I know he didn't do it on purpose. He's a really clean driver. But I'm wondering if Checkmate didn't accidentally stay out on that pit stop and try to drop to the back on purpose.
With three wide coming out of turn 4 here.
they're really working for it, right? I see they're racing hard. And
The hard part about running 3 wide is, you know the fast line is in point A, but if you're on the inside of that 3-lane wide, the catastrophe sometimes, you don't want to be on the inside because you can't get to that fast lane, so you do lose a little bit. As I'm following a truck watching this exact sample, he figured out that low line work, but you can definitely tell he wants to get up a little bit higher.
I do like the fact in this game that you can make a little contact. In Heat 3, if you made a little bit of... it was the 88 and 42 just made major contact, though, on the backstretch. That's going to be heavy damage. Maybe a caution.
Yeah, he's definitely going to be a little bit dizzy after that one, and he's going to look to recollect himself and try and focus on the laps coming forward.
Yeah, that was a big one. But I've noticed that they were doing a little bit of beating and banging and getting away with it there for a lap or two, running 2 and 3 wide, and that's something that you couldn't do on Heat 3 because you would go for a ride.
Yeah.
So I'm glad they made a Heat 4 to where you can do a little bit of beating and banging. In real life, they can without losing it. They can lean on each other a little bit. Not a whole lot, but just a little bit.
Thanks for tuning in tonight, guys, out there at YouTube World. This is the Giggity Racing League preset race at New Hampshire. 50% 2-time winner with cautions and stages. Here we go. We're going back under green again, guys.
32, he's made his way to the front, and that's a Timac. Let's see what he can do out here, if he can keep RJ Smitty in his reach. And another guy in the 12 car, RKM's worked his way up to 3rd place. Ain't really talked about him much tonight, but he's worked. Oh, as they dive it in at 3 wide, that's not going to work at New Hampshire. Something has to give.
There you
RKM's
go,
the lucky
bouncing off
dog
each
out of
other like
that.
ping pong balls.
Yes, there's going to be some guys with some heavy damage, I believe, but RKM gives to Smitty there. I think he drop in right. Ooh, no, he don't either. He comes back on the outside, but then gets tight right in front of the whole field. Stacks them all up for second on back as Smitty's walking away.
I like how you said that there, Robbie, ping pong balls. The first couple laps of the track like this, in these tight corners, anything can happen, rubbing in the grease, as they say. I don't necessarily agree with it, but sometimes it does happen.
It's not my style. My style is to sit back and wait till it gets single file, and then I don't like being 3 wide at a track like New Hampshire. It don't work. So normally,
I'd rather be 3 wide at Watkins Glen than I would be at New Hampshire.
Right, and something's got to give. So normally, if something happens, if I see someone wanting it that bad, I'll back out and let them have it, and then I'll try to catch back up later. Type deal.
Yeah, I've noticed you do that a few times. I'll come up to you and you've gone, you know what, Robbie, just go.
Yeah. That's the way. I mean.
Poor guys who's looking smooth and clean up and he's got some clean air. And there's got to be some kind of a mutual respect.
Oh, 12 gets loose. Yeah, sorry.
In the game, there's got to be a mutual respect. Because he just said 12 gets loose right there, and I think that's Mills. And that's unfortunate for him.
No, that's that is the
RKM.
12. Yep, the 12 of RKM Giggity.
I like what you said about that. Yeah, touch more on that. The respect factor of it. There's guys out there like Robbie was saying. If I see him come up on me and I know he's faster, I'll let him go because I like the way he drives. He's a good. But there's other guys that I'm not. I'm gonna race them the way they race me, kind of. So you got to kind of earn your respect out on the track.
Exactly. I mean, if you're a lap down and you know you're faster than the leader, that's you want to define your point, prove yourself.
Right.
But at the same time, if you're 3 or 4 wide, you just got to be that guy who has to suck it up, and I hate to say that terminology, and say, hey, here we go. I'm going to suck it up, back out, and I'll see you in a lap, and give that mutual respect so you don't wreck. And that's what Giggity Racing League has, guys.
Yeah. You don't want to be known as the guy that's dive bombing people or nothing like that. You know, that's not going to
No,
get you nowhere. You
no, no. Because I was in a public lobby the other day. People were talking about these quote unquote, what do they call them? The pink bandits. A
know.
group of 10 or plus guys in pink cars, and all they want to do is wreck you. Who wants to
Right,
race?
ruin your race. Right.
This is a racing game. Get in it to race. If you want to mess somebody's game up, then go somewhere else. You know, that's the whole fun part about this, is put your technicality against their technicality, and who has the most precision at the end comes out on front, as we see some good tight racing off the restart, guys.
Yeah, Timac and RJ Smitty are racing side by side really clean, but it's allowing Spanker in the 48 to walk off a little bit, as the whole field kind of lagged on my screen. But I think they're having to deal with a little bit of server trouble, a little bit of lag out there tonight. Usually, if the broadcasters can see it.
And I'm following Wicked Gatekeeper, and he appears to be faster than the 3 or 4 cars in front of him, but he is maintaining his own. And what you guys both touched on earlier, as there's a little bit of contact, patience. He's maintaining his patience, letting these guys fight it out, and he'll work his way back to the front. Wicked Gatekeeper is a definitely one to look for tonight, guys.
Look at Buck. He's worked his way up to 5th after being, down early. I'm still not sure if he's on the lead lap, but I would assume he is. But got a little bit of damage on the front of his car, but he's worked his way back up into the picture. As I said, Spank makes a move on him.
Robbie Roover, again, we'll touch back here with Blakey T. Blakey T with that golden red car. If you've ever raced with him, his favorite thing to say is "Ka-chow" from the Disney movie, Cars. His custom car definitely looks like Lightning McQueen. And since they have to run different cars, default cars, you went with that red and gold. It looks like he's going to try to ka-chow the field a little bit here, as he would say, and come from the back of it. Looks like he's about 6th right now, but Blakey T's looking good. He's looking to ka-chow, get to that front.
Yeah, but he needs to be careful because he's got that green car of Wicked Gatekeeper just behind him going, ka-chuga, chuga, ka-chuga, chuga.
Right.
He's coming, right.
Every time Blakey T says ka-chow, that's my response is ka-chuga, ka-chuga.
That's it.
Blakey T has had some unfortunate circumstances in Giggity in lower ranks. Got himself a nice ride here in the Cup Series, and he's a threat to be ka-chugan with, guys.
Yeah, most definitely. I've raced with Blakey T myself, and yeah, you can definitely have a good racing line to follow. And not only that, when you got him behind you, you're constantly checking your mirror to see where he's at.
Exactly, and that's the worst thing you want to do in any form of racing, Roofer and Robbie, is mirror drive. Race the racetrack, not the racer.
Mm-hmm.
And when you got Blakey T, or in this matter, you got H-Rat, or you got Mills, or you got RJ Smitty, or you got Noco, guess what? You're doing the wrong kind of driving because you are mirror driving. Great observation, Robbie.
Yeah, that's a really great way to put it. If you're having to sit there and look in your mirror the whole time, as we're at lap 95 of 150, so we're only about getting close to 50 to go. You're not able to hit your marks as much. That's why when someone's really close up on my bumper like that, sometimes it's easier for me to let them go, so I don't have to.
RJ Smitty's taking the lead now. Oh, and he gets pushed into the wall by 48. Looks like 48 got a little bit loose there from the outside and pushed Smitty into the wall, and it looks like he's going to try again.
I bet you they're getting down on tires again, because I'm starting to see some guys getting a little loose on exit. Yeah.
I think that's a bit of respect right there. I think the 48 of Spenker has just let him pass and said, you know what, Smitty, just
he
take
ran
it.
Him down into the wall. Wow.
Guys, we are seeing some competitive, close racing, and just because you have so many laps to go on a short track, we know if you're on a short track, if they say 100 laps to go, technically that's 50 in your mind because everything clicks off quicker. Everything clicks off quicker in your mind, guys, so you want those positions, you want those stage points, and you want that opportunity for clean air to get up front and run your line without any interference.
Most definitely, Puddin'. Right there, like RJ Smitty, once you get out front, and to me, your car handles just a little, not a big, huge difference, but maybe let's say 3% better than it does in second place with the dirty air that's coming off the 24 for the, you know, it's always nice to have being out front like that, 'cause that clean air, it does make a difference. You're just, especially on the wheels anyways, it just seems like your car drives a little easier than it does in traffic.
Easier, smoother, yes, good
Right.
word.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's
I
very
agree
true.
with you.
But when you come to tracks like Daytona and Talladega, yeah, you got that clean air, but you know you're gonna not have as much fuel, or your tires are gonna be more worn than the guys behind
Right.
you. So that was very clever
Right.
when they made this game, real clever.
Yes. Yeah.
And we will find that out coming up in a short period of time, guys, because what's next?
Spanker looking low.
We got Speedway racing of Daytona coming up after those. So let's see what we have in line with Giggity Racing from them. But in the meanwhile, we have good, close, clean racing up here at New Hampshire.
Yeah, the 48 and 24 are battling. I don't know if they're on the same team, if they're teammates or not, but they're pretty much been swapping the lead all night. But Wicked Gatekeeper there, and he's made his way up there. I think that's Mills as well in the two. We really got a four-car battle right now for the, you know, any one of them guys. They're within a second of each other.
Blakey T just made a nice, clean high to low pass, and he's gaining on those front four guys as I'm watching him from behind, and that's one of those people that you don't want to see in your rear view, just like I wouldn't want to see MP Roof or Vids in my video, or I mean in my mirror. I wouldn't want to see Blakey T coming up on a track like this either. Who can conserve the most? Conservation, I think that's the key right now, guys.
Now that's when you want to have the freshest tires at the end of the race, you know, or a huge lead, you know, one. You either want a 15-second lead with bad tires, or you want, you know, the best tires at the end, you know. That's...
I'm sure you've heard me say it. I know Robbie has. I mean, I could pit and there'd be a caution 1 lap later. I'm coming in for those 4 freshies. 1 lap. That 1 lap can make a difference, and at a track like New Hampshire, 1 lap can make that difference. And I agree. Great, great comment there, Roofer, on
yeah,
what
it could be
session.
a tenth just from 1 lap. I'm gonna take 4 tires pretty much every chance I get, just like you said.
I'll follow the back, knowing that I can probably work my way back to the front with those 4 fresh tires. Robbie?
Yes.
Who is your dark horse in this race, being that there's so many competitive drivers at the front?
At this stage of the race, I'm going to say that I reckon I'm going to have 2. I'm going to go with Wicked or Mills.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Nice call. You took, well...
Yeah, I like Mills sitting in third. You know, myself, you know, he worked his way all the way all night. You didn't really hear much from him in stage 1 and 2. But him working his way up, and the 88's done a good job in fourth too. You wouldn't think you know, he'd be sitting here in stage 3 with 40 to go.
Mills says,
As
gets
soon
a
as we
little
talk
loose.
about him, commentator curse.
Yep, the commentator curse. I was just going to say that I was definitely going to say if I had two dark horses, I would definitely have to say either Blakey T or Mills. And the commentary curse came right there out on Mills as we said that, but we still got plenty of racing and plenty. Yeah, and there's that word again, rhythm. This is one of those tracks. Find your braking points, find your acceleration points. You know, you don't want to overdrive yourself. You are your own worst enemy.
Yep. If you overdrive that corner, it's just you're going to lose so much time. You just want to get in nice and smooth. Like, I don't know. I see a lot of people drive it in real deep and then brake. You know, it just to me that seemed like it'd be really hard on tires, but you have no choice because you got a guy doing. You know, he's diving it in deep behind you. So.
Looks
so
like
far,
we got
though,
some
they've done
great
pretty good all
pit
night.
stops going on, guys. Sorry to overtalk you there, Reaper.
That's what I was wondering when they were going to start getting on pit road, because short pitting, it was huge in the Xfinity races the other night.
A-Trap's just done his short pit.
Yeah. So strategy. That's another word we haven't brought up that should have been brought up with those other 6 or 7 special words. strategy, guys.
Yeah, every track's different, but some tracks short pitting is a good option. Some tracks it's not. But I seen the other night, I believe it was Las Vegas. You know, there was a guy. He had a huge lead and stayed out and stayed out and stayed out and thought he was gonna, you know, stretch his tires. But in reality, he was losing a second a lap to the guys that took new tires. So when the pit cycle went through, he went from first to like fourth and didn't understand why.
And
So I
there's a
had to
lot of people who
explain
don't
to
think
him,
about
oh,
stuff like that. You have to talk about that. That's
right,
exactly right. People
right,
don't think about that. Just because the leader pits and you pass him to gain that position, you have to consider yourself how long. If you have a 15-second pit stop, that's great.
right,
But you're not spending 15 seconds on pit lane. You're spending 45 seconds getting on, getting off. So the time that they gain their new tires, plus the time it takes you to get on and get off cleanly on pit lane, they've gained it back plus some.
right. So a smaller track like this, like a 1 mile, let's say you pit and everyone else stays out and the caution comes out, you're sunk. But if everybody else pits and it cycles through, you should gain some time. But on the bigger tracks is where I've noticed the short pitting being more prevalent, I guess, like on the mile and a half, like Atlanta, I guess, you know, you fall off after 5 laps, you fall off a half a second. So that's where I've seen it work out, you know, more. But it'd be interesting to see how strategy does work out here. You know, we haven't had that chance in stage 1 or 2. There wasn't too much green flag pit stops, but we're going to have some, I believe, here in stage 3, as I've seen some people already hit pit road.
Short pitting is a great opportunity to gain an advantage in the long run. But at the same time, if you short pit by 5 laps, theoretically, time on, time off, like we just talked about, that puts you, you know, it could put you 5 laps up to 6, you know, to 2 or 3 laps down, depending upon how much time, what track, and
Right.
everything like that. So yeah, you're right, Roofer.
It's a tough, yeah, that's what makes
It's a
these
coin
league
flip.
races. Yeah, as you see the 24, he just came on pit road. And he's going to say, I'm going to short pit. Now, I guarantee you, a lot of people are going to start hitting pit road now that they've seen Smitty, the fastest car all night, hit pit road. Because they want to stay on close to the same strategy as him. Or maybe the guys that are in the back that haven't been really that dominant all night, they're going to do the opposite, maybe. You know, so hopefully, Smitty looked like he got on good. I'm going to watch this pit stop just to see how long, make sure he didn't get a penalty or anything, because so far he's been the dominant car here tonight in that 24 Exalta Chevy.
In that 37 car,
Pretty pit stop.
he came off a pit, came behind, but he just passed his leader, got his leader back, he got his lap back from the leaders, and him and Spinker and Blinky T have a great run up here. But now look, he's on 4 fresh tires. So not only did he get his lap back and he passed somebody, where is he going to come out after the pit cycle ends up by doing that?
Right. I believe right now, like, Smitty's probably going to be running a second and a half a lap faster than the guys that have stayed out on old tires. So that's going to make you up on a, let's see, this track here is about a 30-second track. So if you stayed out for 20 laps and lost a second and a half, you'd lose 30 seconds, you know,
That's
whole
all.
lap.
That's an eternity.
Yeah.
Robbie, what would your pit strategy be?
I'll definitely pit when the leaders pit. If not, I would pit with my teammates and try and work together and keep up with those. When you work racing in Giggity Racing League, I find that working with your teammates is always best.
I was just going to say that, Robbie. Roofer has brought up so many great points, but I think that is one of the most top points that Robbie just brought up, was your teammates. Good call, Robbie.
Yeah, and getting practice in with your teammates for pit adjustment leagues, especially because you can't set these cars up. You got to do it in the pits. You know, like if you work with your teammates, you know, 4 or 5 guys, you know, working on a pit adjustment's always going to be better than one. You know, so you get 4 or 5 guys working on, you know, a setup together as teammates. You know, you all got a good competitive setup to work on. It's easier, you know. And you know it works better if 5 guys say, hey, taking down the right rear to 48 works. You know it works, you know. Because all 5 guys are saying, hey, it's working, all 5 of your teammates. So I've noticed Team NOCO's guys really working good together all year. You know, that's one reason why they've been real strong, because I've noticed they do a lot of work.
Yeah.
They put in a lot of work all year.
Once again, thank you guys for joining us. If you're just now tuning in, this is the Giggity Racing League. We are at New Hampshire. We are racing cup cars. We are on our crew set, 50% 2 times race with constant in stages, and we're just talking about strategy on what you would do. So anything can happen right now.
Viewers at home,
Anything
if you
can
have
happen.
any kind of your opinion on what you would do in these kind of situations, you know, let us, let us know. We'll give you a shout out on air. But it's like I said, they made NASCAR Heat 4 like more realistic to real life, to where short pitting is just a really great option on here if the caution don't come out.
I like what Roofer just said. Spit your input out there. Be involved with Giggity Racing. If you're not involved with it per se, that's a great thing. We love to involve the fans. We love doing fan votes. Great call there, Roofer.
Well, I just noticed before the patch, I don't know if you guys noticed, you used to be able to run your tire all the way out and it would blow and the caution would come out. So some guys would not pit at all and they'd run their tire all the way out until the caution bloop would come out, pretty much, which would pin some guys a lap down. But after they patched that on the update, if you stay out and blow a tire, even on a non-damaged race, you're still going to get 6 seconds of damage on your car. Even if there's no damage in the race, you're going to have a 20-second pit stop instead of a 14-second pit stop. So staying out on old tires is really scary to do on this game now, after they patched that mistake. Yeah.
I myself have never popped a tire. I've been one of those super conservative guys, and that's a very valid point you just brought up again. Look at this. We have great commentators in the booth point bringing up all this observations that can make this race change drastically. Robbie Bids, MP Roofer, we got put in the booth tonight, and yeah, shoot us your thoughts of what you guys would do out there. But yeah, you're right. And I didn't notice that. I didn't know that until you just said that, because again, I've been so conservative. I conserve my tires as much as I can, and I'm more worried about fuel mileage sometimes.
Right. And you're not the guy that short pitch. You stay out and try to run to the very last drop, probably.
Maybe I shouldn't give the whole internet my strategy, though. If you ever race with Foot, maybe I just messed up by doing that. So.
Well, no, sometimes that strategy works now, but sometimes it don't. I've seen guys that make extra pit stops and win and make an extra pit stop on a guy just because they're running that. It just all depends on the track, really.
What's your favorite track to run at as we watch RJ Smitty up here get there? What are your favorite tracks, Robbie and Roofer? What are you guys' favorite tracks to race at and pull strategy? Because there's numerous ones out there to do so.
Roofer, do you want to go first?
Robbie, well, me and personally being on a wheel, I love super speedways. I mean, just because you pretty much don't barely even got to turn. It's just, you can hold such a straight line. But I've noticed that tracks like Bristol and Dover are really fun because you can on a wheel too. So I don't know. I'd have to say Daytona and then Dover is probably my 2 favorite tracks on the game.
Robbie?
I would say Charlotte. Not the road course, but I will give you a road course, and that would be Canadian Tire. Running Canadian. Oh, RJ Smitty just spun out.
Oh no!
Yeah. I'm on board with him.
That kills his short pit strategy. Oh no!
That's a damn
Sorry to
shame.
interrupt you there, Robbie. We just had a.
Hey, I interrupted myself. I saw that on board, and well, not on board. I was watching Wicked Gatekeeper, and they was having a really good race between themselves, RJ Smitty and Wicked Gatekeeper, but seems that RJ Smitty come out on the bottom end and spun out.
I've talked with RJ and I've raced with him. He's the guy who's cool, calm, and collected. He can get himself right back into this in a matter of 4 to 5 laps by just running his line and doing what he's got to do, guys. Though he made a mistake and he'll learn from it.
That's a great point. RJ is a guy that I've never heard him yell. I've never heard him cuss somebody, even if they, he's one of the calm, cool. If whether he's in last place or in first place, he's just a quiet, cool guy. Uh, he's been here since season 1. Giggity, a really core guy, you know, like Teddy, RKM. I don't want to leave anybody out that, you know, was here since day 1, but RJ Smith, he's one of the cool ones, you know, he's a really cool guy. His dad also runs too in a truck series, old guy, so him and his dad both do this as, you know, their hobby, which is pretty cool to me.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, to be able to do something like that as a father-son hobby. I lost my father a year ago, and he was my best friend. And our hobby was, he raced motorcycles in the '70s. I raced motorcycles in the 2000s. That was our thing. That's how we stay. That's how we stay connected, or stayed
Most
connected.
definitely.
So for RJ and old guy to do that, that's awesome. That they have that, like you said, that connection to be able to participate with one another and help each other too.
I've raced real life race cars before, but nothing, you know, nothing like a NASCAR, nothing like that, you know, like a street stock, you know, $5,000 setup at the most. But it's just, if you can't afford to do that and go to your local track, I mean, this is your second best option, you know, is get on here, either get good on a controller or buy a wheel, and it's a fun hobby to me to have. I enjoy it. It's a good community.
It is a small knit community because it's not like you see in other games where there's millions of people. You get on and you recognize names. So one more reason not to tour your name or wreck your name. And like you said, it's a hobby. This is a fun entertainment. But I do understand when we get as competitive as Giggity can be. Look how clean they can be and be competitive, clean and competitive.
Oh yeah, right. You get so good at it from doing it for so long, every day or every couple of days, that it just becomes second nature, kinda. You know, you may not be the fastest guy sometimes at some tracks, but you're still, you know, competitive and consistent. You know, like I never qualify hardly ever up towards the front. I'm not a really good qualifier. I qualify towards the end, but towards like 12th. But I usually find my way in the top 5 or the top 10 at most races, unless I make a mistake. But
you're super smooth. From the times that I've watched you, you're super smooth. As we see, as we see a little bit of, I'm back here with Mills and RJ. They each got a little loose. They each got a little loose, made a little contact.
RJ Smitty spun out.
To be a fly in the wall and the holler and that after the race were there, like I said, Mills, I've had the opportunity to broadcast with him, commentate with him.
Smitty can't even get his car turned around because he don't want to jump out in front of anybody. Oh, man.
And again, that's that respect issue. You know, that's a respect thing.
He sat there for half a lap because he didn't want to jump out in front of anybody. He finally got it going.
And you know Mills is not happy about taking the position like that, but what are you going to do? You just got to move on and race your race. And that's unfortunate for RJ Smitty.
This is a track, right? It don't take but a little tap just to throw you into that wall, and that wall, like, will grab you. You know how, like, when you get into the wall, Robbie, it just grabs you. It seems like it's Velcro. It's hard to get out of it.
Like Kansas, perfect track.
Yep.
Well, it's a perfect example, you know, on Kansas, if you don't do your entry...
Velcro.
Yeah, definitely. It is like Velcro, and it can be so frustrating.
Right.
But, you know, you got to be careful not to keep doing it.
You'll come out in front of the field. You don't want to do that and jerk, and wreck them. So
exactly. And not only that, if you're on worn tires as well, you don't want to get loose and wreck anybody else either.
Right. See, that's the thing. A lot of the guys here at Giggity, it's more to them about having a good name on the game,
a clean reputation,
right, and known as a clean driver than being fast and a dirty driver. They'd rather be a consistent, and still fast, not slow, but a clean driver.
And I'm right there with you on that. I would rather be known as a clean, consistent driver than a fast, aggressive driver.
All day. That's what I think. Anybody would rather race with that guy too. The guy that they can go out there and trust that, hey, he's not gonna do nothing terrible. He might make a mistake and accidentally bump me a little, but he's not going to be the type of guy that's going to, run me into the wall for a stage win even. I wouldn't even don't do it for... I've not been put in a situation where I could wreck somebody for a win personally. I ain't been in second place for a win to be put in that situation, but I don't think I could wreck somebody intentionally for a win even.
And we got the 24 of RJ Smitty right here with Mills there, and they're going back at it. There's a little love tap just to say, hey, I remember it, but there's that respect thing. Mills did not get spun around. They caught back up with each other, and again, respect. I think that's the biggest thing in this game. Not only this game, but Giggity Racing, guys.
And that's another thing, like you said earlier, like, Smitty's got a really fast car, but it's so hard to pass that it seems like they've, got into each other because it's so hard to pass here, which I think we'll see a lot more passing at the next track at Daytona, I believe.
Yeah, we'll get into that, and that's another thing, too. We'll get into that. As we've all heard in public lobbies, who makes the High Line great again? We'll see 2, even 3 lanes wide at Daytona, I'm assuming.
I hope so,
we've
man.
seen. Yeah, I like it, yeah. But this race ain't over yet, boys, and we still got some competitive contenders up front that can compete for the win.
Buck's car looked like it's went through the wash machine and back. I don't know what happened with him, but his car was looking way worse than it was earlier. But who's got the lead now? Is it the 48 still?
I believe so.
I think the 48. Yeah, I think the 48 still has the lead. I'm following.
He has minor damage, but he kind of walked off once RJ Smitty made his few mistakes there.
This is an opportunity you do not want to give to the 88 of Blakey T, and that's giving him a clean track and not being around anybody. This is where Blakey T has an advantage. Again, I've raced with him. I've seen it before firsthand. If you give him a clean track where no one's around him, he will take advantage of any opportunity. You give him an inch, he will take that mile. This is his chance to get right back up to that front.
Yeah, his car is relatively clean. I mean, it's not. It's got a few bumps and wrinkles, but he's making a lot of time on the 48. As you see, the 48's either getting real tight on exit, or he's barely scrubbing the wall. I know some people that try that, they run it so hard in there. Sometimes he knows the 88's catching him. He's catching him hard. Yeah, the 48's running in there so hard that he's almost rubbing that red spot.
And I've talked with Blakey T numerous times that he prefers presets over customs, but he very rarely makes an adjustment, whether it be tape, whether it be wedge, whether it be tire pressure. He very rarely makes it. Blakey T's one of the best at driving the car that he has given to him at that point in time, and I will say that.
I think he has the fastest car on the racetrack right now. He's running a way better line than the 48. The 48's, he can't keep it on the bottom right now. As the 88's able to hold a nice low line.
Yeah, that's not good for the 48 when Blakey T can get in a line like this, guys.
No, I think the 88 is a catcher, man. I think the 48 has enough damage to where the 88's going to catch him if he has enough laps.
I've seen Blakey T on a 50% ×4 race wear his tires down to the cords and not flinch. So yeah, we're shaping up to have a great finish to this race, guys.
He's trying hard, and I'm on board with him. And he's trying everything he's got right now to catch the 48.
Yeah, I am also following Blakey T at this moment, and he is just smooth and he's consistent. And that 48's, like you said, he's getting tight. He's running it up. Blakey T does not seem to lose that same line. He runs the same line every lap, and it doesn't matter where his tires are worn at. He is very fast, and this is looking good, Robbie.
It's going to be a good finish here. I really believe Blakey T caught a lot. I mean, they were within like 2 or 3 car lengths now. Blakey is coming. I believe that little bit of damage the 48 has is what's causing his car to drift up the way it was, because he was running a real smooth line earlier, and that 88's fixing pounce. It's one thing
like
getting to him, though,
but
getting around. Right.
Just because aero damage, but it doesn't matter about aero damage. people don't realize it does affect your suspension, which is a
Right.
huge factor.
And you
As
see,
we
he
see
gets
the boy,
really
yeah,
loose.
really loose right there. And Blakey T makes the pass, and he clean passes them. And again,
That's
he
free
went from
selling
low
for
to high.
Blakey T now.
Yep.
48, I
don't-
think I would tap if I was him and just try to finish this race off and be happy
get
with
those
a
points.
second. Right.
Get those points. Yep.
I
Guys,
wouldn't even try to run him hard.
I
Now,
can't
if
wait to,
88 happens to make a mistake, that's one thing, but I wouldn't push the issue right now. If I was Spanker, I would just try to bring it home in sec P2.
I agree, yeah. And Robbie, I can't wait to get these guys into the post-race interview after this and hear their thoughts and their opinions on this.
Yeah, I think what we're going to do, we're probably going to do the interviews towards the end of the night after both races are done, and bring all the drives in towards the end so they haven't got to quickly rush off and jump into a qualifier. They have a chance to relax and have a break and then do the qualify from there.
Well, especially it being in New Hampshire. No offense to everybody on the internet. I don't know how to say this politely, but everybody's going to pee, so...
Yeah,
well,
exactly.
I'm gonna tell you what, 150 laps at New Hampshire is a workout.
It is.
I've raced a full 100% race here, and I thought it about killed me. And that's only 300 laps. But 50% still, it's a workout. You gotta, especially on a wheel. I mean, yeah, well, on both, on the controller and the wheel. I hear so many guys on the controller on they're just hearing click, 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 click. I mean, I don't know how they do it for 2 hours straight like that. Their thumbs must be calloused, but.
And again, I don't mean to toot my own horn here by knowing Blakey T, but just following him, and I think that might have been either the stage
he just
or
won the race.
Yeah, that must have been
I think
the race.
he just won the race.
Look how smooth he is on tires. It doesn't matter. He could be on cords, ladies and gentlemen, and Blakey T is so smooth. He just does not move.
Spanker's a top-notch guy to beat. For him to come back and, pass Spanker with, there was probably 5-6 laps to go when he passed him, and then hold it like he did. He did a great job. I understand why Spanker wasn't wanting to give up now, so easy since we're at the end of the race, It's hard to get a win at Giggity, so of course he was going to try with having a handful of laps to get the win, but that's a good job by Blakey T. I do not know a whole lot about him besides driving a few esports races with him, but like I said, he did a great, he impressed me tonight.
That's awesome for Blakey T. Blakey T, he drove a great race, and again, he does like these shorter, tighter-knit tracks, and for him to maintain, he's had some unfortunate luck in the lower ranks of Giggity, and he worked his way back up. This is why he proved himself why he should be a cup driver.
Yeah, not just anybody comes into Giggity, even Robbie, you know that. I mean, even Xfinity, and how hard it is to win a race. So, I mean, you have to give the man props. It's a great job.
Yeah, definitely. This is a hard track, and I'll tell you what, that was an absolute awesome race to watch. Definitely some clean driving and barely any cautions whatsoever. I think there might have been 1 or 2, but what a race.
Really, it was a good race. Really good race. Which, like I said, I'm never disappointed at New Hampshire. It usually always comes down to a close finish like that.
Yeah, definitely. So, the winner of New
Somehow
Hampshire was number 88 of Blakey T. Awesome drive. Absolutely awesome. What are your thoughts, guys?
My thoughts are I can't wait for Daytona after we just saw that and the new pit strategy, because like you said, what Robbie and both Roofer said, your strategy, your techniques change from a short track to super speedway.
Now everything's totally different, right?
Exactly.
You're
so
going
let's
from
see how
1
this
mile
pans
to
out, guys.
2.5 miles, right.
Congratulations to everybody in Giggity Racing League. Blakey T, putting it on top. We have MP Roofer. We got Robbie Vids from over the pond in England. Cannot wait to call Daytona with you. As always, thanks for having me here in Giggity Racing League. This is Puddin, Robbie, and Roofer. We will talk to you here in just a couple minutes, guys.
Thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you in 10 minutes.